The clock on my monitor read 11 p.m. when I logged into the 529 account. 3 days since Lily got her acceptance letter from Northwestern, and I still couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face when she ripped open that envelope, the way her hands shook, the scream that didn't sound human, the way she tackled me in the kitchen while Emily recorded it on her phone. My daughter was going to Northwestern. My little girl, who used to ask me to check under her bed for monsters, was going to one of the best universities in the country. I just wanted to see the numbers. Run the calculations one more time. Figure out how much more I needed to squirrel away before August. 18 years of birthday checks from grandparents, tax returns, bonuses I never spent on myself. All of it sitting in that account, waiting for this exact moment. The page loaded. Balance, 2847.62. I stared at the screen. Blinked. Clicked refresh. Same number. My hands went cold. Not figuratively. Actually cold, like someone had dunked them in ice water. I could feel my pulse in my temples, a dull thudding that seemed to echo in the silence of my home office. There should be $83,000 in that account. I checked it 6 months ago. I remember the exact figure, $81,147.89. I'd added another $2,000 since then. I clicked on transaction history. The screen populated with a list that made my stomach drop through the floor. 14 withdrawals over 8 months. The smallest was $2,000. The largest was $12,000. All of them transferred to an external account ending in 7734. I scrolled through every single one, my financial analyst brain clicking into gear even as the rest of me wanted to vomit. January 15th, $5,000. February 3rd, $8,000. February 28th, $3,500. March, April, May, June, July, August. The hits kept coming. Each transaction was like a knife to the chest. Only 2 people had access to this account. Me and Emily. I took screenshots of everything, emailed them to myself. Then I emailed them to my work address. Then I emailed them to the backup Gmail I'd created years ago and never used. I didn't wake my wife. I sat in the dark of my home office until 4 a.m., listening to the house settle around me, trying to figure out how the woman I'd been married to for 18 years had stolen our daughter's future. The refrigerator hummed downstairs. The furnace kicked on, then off. Somewhere outside, a dog barked twice and fell silent. At some point, I realized I was gripping the armrests of my chair so hard my knuckles had gone white. I forced my hands to relax, forced myself to breathe. Think, Matt. Think like the analyst you are. Don't react. Investigate. Wednesday morning, I made pancakes. Emily came downstairs in her robe, hair still wet from the shower, and kissed my cheek. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep. Too excited about Lily's news, I guess." She smiled. Same smile I'd fallen in love with 22 years ago at that accounting conference in Cleveland. Same crinkle around her eyes. Same hand squeezing my shoulder as she poured her coffee. "She's going to do amazing things, Matt. We raised a good kid." We. Like we were still a team. Like she hadn't gutted our daughter's college fund while I was sleeping. "Yeah," I said, flipping a pancake with more force than necessary. "We did." Lily bounded downstairs a few minutes later, still glowing with the residual high of her acceptance. "Dad, I've been looking at the dorm options. Can we talk about whether I should do the substance-free housing or the regular freshman dorm?" "Whatever you want, sweetheart." "That's not helpful. I need your analytical brain. What are the statistical advantages of substance-free housing for academic performance?" I almost laughed. My daughter, who couldn't help approaching every decision like a research project. Let's look at it together after dinner, I said. I'm sure we can find some data. I watched Emily all through breakfast. The way she ate her pancakes, the way she scrolled through her phone, the way she laughed at something Lily said about her friend's disastrous prom dress fitting. Looking for cracks, looking for tells, nothing. She was exactly the same Emily she'd always been. How was that possible? How do you steal $80,000 from your own family and eat pancakes like nothing happened? I went to work, but I didn't work. I spent 8 hours in my office with the door closed, using every trick I'd learned in 15 years of financial analysis. The account number ending in 7734 was a personal checking account. No business registration, no public records attached. Dead end. My colleague Tom knocked on my door around lunch. "Hey, Sullivan, you okay in there? You've had that door closed all morning." "Working on something personal. I'm fine." "You don't look fine. You look like someone ran over your dog." "I don't have a dog." Figure of speech, Matt. Seriously, if you need to talk, I don't. Thanks, Tom. He gave me a long look before retreating. I felt bad for being short with him, but I couldn't explain what was happening. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I called my bank. Put on my most concerned customer voice. "Hi, this is Matthew Sullivan. I'm seeing some transactions I don't recognize on one of my accounts. Transfers to an account I didn't authorize. I'm trying to verify if this might be fraud." The customer service rep was helpful. Too helpful in retrospect. I doubt she was supposed to give me as much information as she did. But I was polite, I was concerned, and I knew exactly which questions to ask. Within 10 minutes, I knew the receiving bank was First Republic Los Angeles branch. Los Angeles. We don't know anyone in Los Angeles. Emily's family is all in Ohio, her parents in Dayton, her sister Barbara in Cincinnati. Mine is scattered across the Midwest. Our friends, our lives, everything is here in Columbus. So who the hell in LA was getting $80,000 of my daughter's college money? That night, I watched Emily help Lily fill out financial aid forms. The irony almost made me laugh out loud. My wife, who had systematically drained an account meant for this exact purpose, cheerfully explaining the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. "You're going to love orientation," Emily said, tucking a strand of hair behind Lily's ear. "I remember mine at Ohio State. Best weekend of my life up to that point." "Did you meet Dad there?" Lily asked. "No, honey. I met your father 3 years later at the most boring conference in human history. He was the only person in the room who didn't make me want to stab myself with my name tag." They both laughed. I forced myself to join in, but the sound that came out of my mouth was hollow. "What was so boring about it?" Lily asked. "It was a 3-day seminar on regulatory compliance in financial services," I said. "Your mother was there representing her company's accounting department. I was there because my boss made me go. Dad noticed me during the keynote because I was reading a novel hidden inside my conference binder," Emily added. "He passed me a note that said, 'Chapter 12 is where it gets good.' He'd already read the book. It was a good book. It was a terrible book, and you know it. But it was sweet that you pretended otherwise." Lily grinned at both of us. "You guys are so cute it's almost gross." I excused myself to my office. I couldn't sit there anymore, playing happy family with a woman who had been lying to me for 8 months. I needed more information before I confronted her. I needed to understand what I was dealing with. Thursday night, I couldn't wait any longer. Lily was at her friend's house, allegedly studying for finals, but probably watching terrible reality TV and eating pizza. The house was quiet, Emily was curled up on the couch with a book, some thriller with a dark cover, looking for all the world like a woman without a single secret. I sat down across from her. She looked up, registered something in my expression, and set her book aside. "Matt, what's wrong? I need to talk to you about something." "Okay." She shifted on the couch, tucking her feet under her. "You're scaring me a little. Is this about work?" "No." I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshot of the account balance, handed it to her. "I need you to explain this." I watched her face. In 18 years of marriage, you learn someone's expressions like a map. You know which muscle twitches when they're amused, which eyebrow raises when they're skeptical, which slight tightening around the mouth means they're holding something back. What I saw on Emily's face was something I'd never seen before. Terror. Complete, undiluted terror. She went white. Paper white. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. Her hand trembled as she held my phone, the screen shaking. "Matt," her voice cracked. "Matt, I can explain." "Then explain." The tears started. Her hands shook as she set down my phone. "I have a problem. A gambling problem. I didn't know how to tell you. Gambling. Online poker. I started during COVID when everything was locked down and I was working from home and going out of my mind. Everyone else was baking bread or doing puzzles, and I just felt like I was suffocating. I found this poker site, and it was just supposed to be something to do. Something that was mine." She was sobbing now, the words tumbling out between gasps. "But then I won a few times. Big wins, Matt. Thousands of dollars. And I thought, I'm good at this. I can do this. But then I started losing, and I kept thinking I could win it back if I just played one more hand, made one more bet. Emily, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was too ashamed to tell you. I thought I could fix it before anyone noticed. I was going to put it all back. I swear to God, Matt, I was going to. Emily, I'll go to GA. Gamblers Anonymous. I'll get help. Whatever it takes. Please don't leave me. Please. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. Together. We can fix this." I looked at my wife, tears streaming down her face, body shaking with sobs, and I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that this was a disease, an addiction, something we could fight together like we'd fought everything else. The miscarriage before Lily, the year I got laid off, her mother's stroke. But here's the thing about being a financial analyst. You spend your whole career looking for numbers that don't add up. And Emily's story didn't add up. Gambling sites don't use personal checking accounts. They use offshore platforms, regulated state gaming sites, cryptocurrency exchanges. I'd analyzed enough financial fraud cases to know exactly how gambling addiction manifests in transaction records. This wasn't it. $80,000 to a personal account in Los Angeles isn't gambling addiction. It's something else entirely. But I didn't say that. Not yet. I moved to sit beside her on the couch, pulled her into my arms, let her cry against my chest while I rubbed her back. "We'll get through this," I said. The words tasted like ash. "We'll find you help. We'll figure it out together." "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for understanding. I don't deserve you." "No," I thought. "You don't." She pulled back, wiping her eyes. "I'll start looking for GA meetings tomorrow. There's got to be groups around here. And I'll call Dr. Hernandez, see if she can refer me to someone who specializes in addiction." "That sounds good." "And I'll pay it back, Matt. I know it'll take time, but I'll get a second job, whatever it takes. Lily will go to Northwestern. I won't let my mistake destroy her future." Let's just take it one day at a time. She nodded, sniffling. One day at a time. I can do that. I kissed her forehead, pulled her close again, played the part of the supportive husband. But inside, my mind was working, analyzing, calculating. That night, I lay awake beside her while she slept. One question circled through my mind like a vulture. Why Los Angeles? Friday morning, I told Emily I forgave her. I told her I wanted to help her recover. I suggested couples therapy, which she accepted with tearful gratitude. Then I drove to work and called Derek Walsh. Derek and I roomed together at Ohio State. He'd gone into forensic accounting, the kind of work that involves tracing dirty money through shell companies and helping the feds build cases against white-collar criminals. 15 years ago, I'd helped him through a rough patch after his first wife left him. He owed me a favor, the kind that doesn't expire. Matt, it's been a minute. How's Lily? Didn't she just get into Northwestern? She did. Derek, I need help. Something in my voice must have tipped him off. What kind of help? I need you to trace an account for me. Personal checking, First Republic LA, ending in 7734. Matt, you know I can't just… Derek, please. This is important. Long pause. I could hear him breathing, could almost hear the calculations running through his head. How important? Lily's college fund is gone, all $83,000. Emily says it's gambling, but the money went to this account. To a person, Derek, not a casino. Another pause. You think she's lying? I know she's lying. I just don't know what the truth is. Give me a few days. Saturday, Emily went to what she said was a therapy appointment. I watched her drive away, then waited 10 minutes to make sure she didn't come back for a forgotten phone or purse. I found what I was looking for, a cheap Android, the kind you buy at a gas station with prepaid minutes. A burner. My heart hammered against my ribs. I pressed the power button. The screen lit up with a PIN request. I tried our anniversary, 0623. Wrong. Lily's birthday, 0912. Wrong. Emily's birthday, 1104. Wrong. I was about to give up when something surfaced in my memory. 2 months ago, at dinner, Emily had mentioned a date, July 17th. She'd said something about it being important, and then changed the subject when I asked why. I'd let it go. Just another small mystery in a marriage full of them. 0717. The phone unlocked. I didn't read the messages. Not yet. I photographed the phone from every angle, noted exactly where it had been in the pocket, folded into the right side, screen facing in, and put it back precisely as I'd found it. But I knew now, with absolute certainty, that my wife hadn't been gambling. She'd been hiding something. Actively, deliberately hiding something that required a secret phone. Monday afternoon, Derek called. Got your account holder, he said. Name's Ryan Ashford, 38, Los Angeles, California. He's got a LinkedIn, lists himself as a life coach and spiritual advisor. Real slick-looking website, testimonials, the whole 9 yards. Coaching packages starting at $500 an hour. I was already typing the name into Google. What else? Not much on the surface. No criminal record. No business registration for his coaching company, which is a red flag. His Instagram is all luxury cars and motivational quotes. If I had to guess, he's either running some kind of guru scam, or he's a front for something else. I found the LinkedIn profile. Ryan Ashford's face filled my screen. Chiseled jaw, perfect teeth. The kind of calculated stubble that takes 20 minutes to achieve. His bio talked about unlocking abundance, and releasing limiting beliefs, and finding your authentic path to fulfillment. His coaching packages started at $500 an hour, For premium transformation sessions, he charged $2,000. Derek, what does this look like to you? Honestly, either your wife is having an affair with a wannabe guru, or she's getting scammed by a professional. Could be both. These life coach types attract a certain kind of vulnerable person, and the line between client and lover gets blurry. You think she's a client? I think $80,000 over 8 months doesn't look like coaching fees. That looks like something personal. After I hung up, I sat in my car in the parking lot of my office building and went through Ryan Ashford's Instagram. Every photo was polished to perfection. Every caption was designed to project wealth, success, confidence. The comments were full of heart-eye emojis from middle-aged women. One woman had commented on a photo from February, "Your wisdom changed my life. I can't wait for our next session." I clicked on her profile. Karen Westbrook, 54, Denver. Divorced, according to her bio. Her own photos showed a woman who looked happy. Too happy. The kind of aggressive happiness people perform when they're trying to convince themselves. I didn't know what I was looking at yet. Lover or con man? Maybe there wasn't a difference. Tuesday evening, Lily came home from school acting strange. She'd been distant for weeks, and I'd chalked it up to senior year stress. The college decision, finals, the pressure of figuring out her entire future at 17. But tonight, something was different. She kept glancing at her phone, kept looking toward the door like she expected Emily to walk in any second. "Hey, kiddo, you okay?" She looked up from her homework. "Yeah, fine." "You don't seem fine." "Just tired." She went back to her textbook, but I could see her eyes weren't moving across the page. "Lily?" I sat down across from her at the kitchen table. "Talk to me." She put down her pencil, met my eyes. In her expression, I saw something that made my stomach clench. She was afraid. "Is Mom okay?" she asked instead of answering. "What do you mean?" "She's been different. For a while now." I didn't want to say anything because I thought maybe I was imagining it, or maybe it was just work stress, but "She's different, Dad." "Different how?" Lily picked at a thread on her sleeve, the same nervous habit she'd had since childhood. "Like 2 months ago, I came home early from school. Dr. Patterson let us out early because of some teacher meeting. Mom was in her room on the phone and she didn't hear me come in." She paused. She was crying, really crying. I heard her say, "I can't keep doing this." "Did you hear anything else?" "Just that." I got scared, so I went back outside and came in again, louder this time. When I saw her, she acted like everything was normal, said she'd just been watching a sad movie. What else? She's super secretive about her phone now, holds it differently, always has it face down, takes it with her when she goes to the bathroom, and I found, she stopped. "What did you find, Lily?" "A notebook, in her nightstand." I wasn't snooping, I swear. I was looking for stamps for my college thank you notes, and Mom always kept stamps in that drawer. Her voice cracked. There were initials written in it. R.A., with hearts around them, like a teenager. R.A., Ryan Ashford. "Lily." I reached across the table and took her hand. "When did you find this?" "A month ago, maybe more. I've been trying not to think about it." "Why didn't you tell me?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Because I didn't want it to be true. I kept telling myself I was reading too much into it, that Mom was just going through something, that it wasn't what it looked like." "What did you think it looked like?" "Dad." She was crying now. "Is Mom having an affair?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. "I knew something was wrong," she said. I knew it. I've been pretending everything was fine, but it's not, is it? It's not fine at all. I moved to sit beside her and pulled her into a hug. She buried her face in my shoulder like she used to when she was small, when a hug from Dad could fix anything. I'm going to figure this out, I said. Whatever is happening, I'm going to figure it out. Okay? She nodded against my chest. She was 17 years old, on the verge of adulthood, and in that moment, she was my little girl again, looking to her father to fix what was broken. I just didn't know if I could. Wednesday morning, Emily left for work at 7:30. I told her I was working from home. A project deadline needed to focus. As soon as I heard her car pull out of the driveway, I retrieved the burner phone from her coat pocket. My hands were steady, steadier than they'd been since this whole nightmare began. I was done speculating, done wondering. I was going to know the truth. EO717. The phone opened to a message thread with a contact labeled simply R. I sat down on the edge of our bed, the bed Emily and I had shared for 15 years, and began to read. The messages went back 8 months. The early ones were almost sweet, in a grotesque way. Emily asking how his day was. R responding with carefully crafted warmth. "You're unlike anyone I've ever met," he'd written in September. "Most people go through life half asleep. You're awake. You see things others miss." "I don't feel awake," Emily had responded. "I feel like I've been sleepwalking for years." "That's because you've been living someone else's life. The life people expected you to have. The real Emily is still in there, waiting to emerge." I scrolled through months of messages, watching the evolution of their relationship. The compliments became more intense. The conversations became more intimate. Not sexually explicit, thank God for that, but emotionally intimate in a way that made me want to put my fist through the wall. "I felt so alone before you," Emily wrote in November. "Matt is a good man, but he doesn't see me. Not really. He sees the wife, the mother, the competent person who keeps the household running. He doesn't see who I really am inside." "You deserve to be worshipped," R responded. "You deserve someone who recognizes the goddess you are. Someone who sees your light." "I'm not a goddess. I'm a middle-aged woman with a boring job and a boring life." "That's what they've trained you to believe. That's the cage they've built around your spirit. I can help you break free." There were photos. Emily sending him pictures of herself in new dresses, asking if he liked them. "Does this look okay? I wanted to try something different." Selfies with her hair done, wearing more makeup than she usually wore. R sending photos back. The same chiseled face from LinkedIn, now shirtless, now lounging by a pool, now smiling at the camera with practiced seduction. "My goddess," he captioned one. "I can't stop thinking about you." "I think about you too," she'd written back. "All the time." Matt asked me the other day what I was smiling about, and I had to make something up. And then there was the money. "Baby, I need to ask you something," R had written in January. "The investment I told you about, it's almost ready to mature, but I need another infusion to get it over the line. Once it does, everything changes. For both of us." "How much do you need?" 5,000? I know it's a lot. But this is our future, Emily. Ours. "I trust you," she'd written back. "Whatever you need." The pattern repeated throughout the messages. R would create urgency, an investment opportunity, a business expense, a temporary cash flow problem, an unexpected legal fee. Emily would express concern. R would reassure her with love and promises and visions of their future together. Emily would send the money. The business license is going to cost another 5 chaos, he'd written in April. Then I can finalize everything. Then I can fly out to Columbus and we can finally meet. Finally hold each other. Those words hit me like a physical blow. Finally meet. They'd never met in person. My wife had sent $80,000, our daughter's entire college fund, to a man she had never touched, never stood next to, never breathed the same air as. I scrolled through more messages, my stomach churning. And then, buried near the beginning of the thread, I found the thing that destroyed me completely. Once my business is established, I'll fly you out. R had written in August, 8 months ago. Or better yet, I'll come to Columbus. We can finally be together for real. After everything's settled with your divorce. Divorce? The word sat there on the screen, glowing, radioactive. I think about it every day, Emily had responded. Just a few more months. After Lily graduates, I'll ask Matt. I don't want to disrupt her senior year. You're such a good mother. That's one of the things I love about you. But you deserve happiness too. You deserve a life that's yours. Soon, I promise. After graduation. She was going to leave me. Not just cheat on me, leave me. She'd been planning it for months. Every time she kissed me goodbye, every time she said, I love you before bed, every time she laughed at one of my jokes, she was counting down the days until she could walk out the door. I set the phone down. My hands were shaking now. I'd come into this looking for a financial crime. What I'd found was so much worse. Thursday night, I sent Lily to her friend's house. Sarah's mom invited me for dinner, she said, and I just nodded. I needed her out of the blast radius. Emily came home at 6. I was sitting in the living room waiting. The lights were off except for one lamp. The burner phone was on the coffee table between us. She came in, saw the phone, and froze. Matt, sit down. Matt, please, I can... Sit down. She sat. Her hands were trembling. Her eyes kept darting to the phone like it was a live grenade. Here's how this is going to work, I said. My voice was calm. I was surprised by how calm. I'm going to tell you what I know. You're going to tell me what I don't. And if you lie to me one more time, Emily, I'm walking out of this house and filing for divorce tomorrow morning. She nodded. A tear slid down her cheek. I know about Ryan Ashford. I know you've been sending him money for 8 months. I know it's not gambling. It was never gambling. I know you were planning to leave me after Lily graduated. I know you've never met this man in person, and yet you've sent him $80,000 of our daughter's college fund because he called you a goddess and told you that you deserved better. Every word landed like a punch. Emily's composure crumbled completely. Not the rehearsed tears from before, but raw, animal panic. Matt, please let me explain. You already explained. Last Thursday. You looked me right in the eyes, sobbed about your gambling addiction, begged for forgiveness, and every single word was a lie. So no, Emily, you don't get to explain anymore. You get to listen. He manipulated me. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You were bored. You were lonely. Some man on the internet told you what you wanted to hear, and you decided he was worth more than 18 years of marriage and your own daughter's future. That's not... You stole from Lily. My voice cracked on our daughter's name. Not from me, from her. $80,000, Emily. Do you know what that money was supposed to do? Do you have any idea what you've taken from her? She was crying fully now, gasping sobs that shook her whole body. I was lonely, she managed. I was so lonely. You work all the time and Lily has her own life and I felt invisible, like I could disappear and no one would notice. He made me feel seen. He made me feel special. So special that you were going to throw away 18 years of marriage. So special that you drained our daughter's college fund. Tell me, Emily, when exactly were you planning to mention this? When the tuition bill came due? When Lily had to call Northwestern and explain she couldn't afford to attend? She didn't answer. She couldn't. Were you even going to pay it back? Or were you just going to let our daughter's dreams collapse and pretend you didn't know why? I was going to fix it. He said the investment would. The investment? I laughed. A harsh, ugly sound. There is no investment. There's no business. There's probably no Ryan Ashford. You've been sending money to a con artist who tells you what you want to hear, and you were too desperate to question any of it. That's not true. He loves me. We have something real. You've never met him. The words echoed in the silence that followed. Emily stared at me, and I saw something shift in her expression. A crack in the delusion. A flicker of doubt where there had only been certainty. He's real, she whispered. But she didn't sound sure anymore. Ryan Ashford doesn't exist. His photos belong to a fitness model in Miami named Tanner Brooks. His LinkedIn was created 6 months ago. His website is registered through an anonymizer. Every single thing about him is fake, Emily. You fell in love with a character played by a scammer who probably runs a dozen identical cons. She shook her head. No, that's not. He knows things about me, personal things. He understands me. He understands how to take your money. That's all he's ever understood. The fight went out of her. I watched it happen, watched her shoulders slump, watched the denial drain from her eyes and leave something hollow in its place. I want you out of this house by Sunday, I said. Matt, please, think about Lily. I am thinking about Lily. I'm thinking about how I'm going to tell her that the mother she trusted destroyed her future for a man in a stolen profile picture. I'm thinking about how I'm going to scrape together enough money to give her the life she deserves. I'm thinking about how I'm going to explain that the woman who raised her is a liar and a thief. Emily flinched. Don't call me that. Don't. What should I call you? What would you call someone who did what you did? She had no answer. Sunday, I said. Call Barbara. Call whoever you need to call. But you're not sleeping in this house anymore. I got up and walked out of the room. Behind me, I could hear her crying. I didn't look back. Friday morning, I confirmed the myth of Ryan Ashford was exactly that, a myth. I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open, a cup of coffee going cold beside me, methodically dismantling the fantasy my wife had fallen for. I ran his Instagram photos through a reverse image search. Within seconds, I had my answer. The man in the pictures was a fitness model named Tanner Brooks, based in Miami. Real name, real person, real Instagram with hundreds of thousands of followers. His face had been stolen, used as a mask by whoever was really behind the Ryan Ashford persona. The LinkedIn profile? Created 6 months ago. No connections except fake accounts, no endorsements from real people, no history before this elaborate con began. The website? Domain registered through an anonymizer service. The testimonials were generic, probably copied from other sites or generated by AI. Ryan Ashford didn't exist. He never had. I called the FBI field office in Columbus, explained the situation to a receptionist, got transferred twice, and finally reached an agent named Nicole Patterson who specialized in cyber fraud. Romance scams like this generate over $1 billion annually in the US alone, she told me. The victims are usually intelligent, successful people. The shame keeps them silent, which is what the scammers count on. Most cases are never reported. How do I get the money back? The honest answer? It's possible but difficult. These operations often run overseas: Nigeria, Philippines, Eastern Europe. The money gets laundered through multiple accounts, converted to cryptocurrency, moved offshore. But we'll investigate. We've had some success lately with cases like this. I gave her everything: screenshots, account numbers, the burner phone itself. When I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in days: a small, fragile sense of control. Emily moved out on Sunday. Barbara drove up from Cincinnati to help. I stayed in my office while they packed. I couldn't watch. Couldn't listen to the sound of our shared life being divided into boxes and suitcases. Couldn't see Emily's hands touching the things we'd accumulated together over 18 years. At one point, Barbara knocked on my door. "Matt, can I talk to you for a second?" I opened the door. She looked older than the last time I'd seen her, more tired, more worn. But then, we all did now. "I just want you to know." I didn't know. None of us knew what she was doing. "I believe you. She's not well. Whatever happened to her mind? She's not the person I grew up with. It's like something broke inside her." "That doesn't change what she did, Barbara." "No." She looked down at her hands. "It doesn't. I'm not asking you to forgive her. I want you to know that we're going to get her help. Real help this time. Not the fake therapy she was pretending to go to." "I hope you do." An hour later, the house was silent. Emily was gone. 18 years of marriage, reduced to a closed front door and empty spaces where her things used to be. I walked through the house that night, room by room, cataloging what had changed. Her books were gone from the shelves. Her clothes were gone from the closet. The bathroom counter, which had always been cluttered with her products, was suddenly sparse and clean. In our bedroom, my bedroom now, I found a note on the pillow where she used to sleep. "Matt, I know I have no right to ask anything of you, but please take care of Lily. She's going to need you more than ever. And someday, if she ever wants to know my side of the story, please don't stop her from reaching out. I loved you. I still love you. I just lost myself somewhere along the way. Emily." I read the note 3 times. Then I folded it up, put it in my desk drawer, and tried to forget about it. Some things are easier said than done. The hardest conversation came 3 days later. Lily came home from her friend's house. I sat her down at the kitchen table, the same table where we'd eaten 1,000 family dinners, blown out birthday candles, done homework together. "Dad, you're scaring me. What's going on?" "I need to tell you something about the college fund." Her face went still. She'd been dreading this, I realized. She'd been waiting for the other shoe to drop ever since she found that notebook. "How bad is it?" "It's gone, most of it. Your mom made some very serious financial mistakes." "What kind of mistakes?" I'd prepared a careful answer, vague enough to protect her, specific enough to be honest. But Lily was too smart for euphemisms. "It wasn't gambling, was it?" I didn't say anything. My silence was answer enough. Her expression cycled through a dozen emotions in seconds: confusion, realization, anger, grief, betrayal. She'd been holding on to hope that there was an innocent explanation. I watched that hope die. "She was cheating on you." Not a question. "It's more complicated than that." Was she sending money to someone? I heard you guys talking through the wall. There is a man, wasn't there? That's what RA was about. Some guy she met online. Lily, don't protect her. Her voice was sharp. She doesn't deserve it. I reached across the table to take her hand. She let me, but her grip was tight, knuckles white. Your mom got involved with someone who turned out to be running a scam. He wasn't who he said he was. She sent him money that she shouldn't have, and now that money is gone. $80,000. Lily's voice was flat. I saw the account balance on your laptop. She sent some fake boyfriend $80,000 of my college money. Yes. And she was going to leave you. Lily, how did you? I found more stuff. On her phone. Before you guys started fighting, I saw messages. Tears were streaming down her face now. I didn't want to believe it. I kept telling myself I was wrong, that I was reading too much into it. But I wasn't wrong, was I? No, sweetheart, you weren't wrong. She broke down then, sobs tearing out of her like something physical was being ripped away. I held her, my own eyes burning, feeling the weight of everything Emily had destroyed. Can I still go to Northwestern? She asked finally, her voice muffled against my shoulder. I will figure it out, I promise you. Whatever it takes. The next month was a blur of phone calls, spreadsheets, and desperate mathematics. Northwestern's total cost of attendance was roughly $85,000 per year. Even with financial aid, the numbers were catastrophic. I made lists, options, contingencies, student loans. Possible. But I hated the idea of Lily starting adulthood 6 figures in debt. Scholarships. She'd already received a partial academic merit award. I helped her apply for every additional scholarship I could find. Obscure ones, local ones, ones with ridiculous requirements. Anything. HELOC. I could borrow against the house. It would hurt, but the equity was there. My parents? When I suggested selling it through Barbara, Emily agreed immediately. A guilt offering. I took it. By the end of the month, I'd scraped together $67,000. Not enough for 4 years, but enough to start. And then the lawyer called. Emily wanted to make amends. She was willing to sign over her share of the house equity. She'd waive any claim to alimony. She wanted nothing except, eventually, for Lily to forgive her. I sat with that offer for 2 days. Part of me wanted to reject it, wanted no part of anything that came from Emily. But this wasn't about pride. It wasn't about me at all. I accepted. 2 months later, Agent Patterson called with news. We traced your scammer, she said. Part of a fraud ring operating out of Lagos, Nigeria. They used American accomplices to launder the money. One of them was holding the account your wife transferred to. We arrested him in Los Angeles last week. What does that mean for the money? We recovered $31,000 from the seized accounts. The rest is gone. Moved offshore before we could freeze it. I'm sorry it's not more. $31,000. Less than half. But more than nothing. The money technically goes to your wife as the victim of the fraud, Patterson continued. But if she's willing to sign it over, she will. Emily signed the paperwork that afternoon. The money went straight into a new 529 account, one with my name only. The divorce was finalized in August, uncontested. Emily didn't fight anything. Our last meeting was at the lawyer's office, signing papers. She looked different, thinner, older, like the past few months had aged her a decade. Her eyes had a haunted quality I'd never seen before. I know sorry isn't enough, she said, as I gathered my copies. It'll never be enough. But I am sorry, Matt, for all of it. I know you are. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know that I understand what I did. Finally, after months of therapy, I understand. I was so desperate to feel special that I convinced myself a fantasy was real. I threw away everything that actually mattered. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved for more than half my life. In another universe, we'd be planning Lily's college orientation together. We'd be talking about empty nest syndrome and second honeymoons and growing old together. But we don't live in that universe anymore. I hope you find whatever you're looking for, I said. And I meant it. Not forgiveness, but something close to peace. I walked out without looking back. 3 weeks later, I drove Lily to Northwestern. 6 hours of highway, gas station coffee, and playlists she'd curated for the occasion. We talked about everything and nothing. We didn't talk about Emily. We didn't need to. I helped her carry boxes up to her dorm room, made the bed, installed the shelf, checked the mini fridge, did everything a father does when he's not ready to say goodbye. Finally, there was nothing left to do. We stood in the hallway outside her room, surrounded by other parents making their own awkward farewells. Dad, she hugged me tight. Thank you for not giving up on me. Never, I said. Not ever. I held her for another minute. Then I let go, got in my truck, and drove home to an empty house. Spring came early that year. I was sitting on my back porch watching the trees bud when my phone buzzed with a LinkedIn notification. Someone named Caroline West had sent me a message. I saw the FBI report. I was another victim of the same scammer. Lost $45,000 to him 2 years ago. There are more of us. 12 women so far, across 7 states. We're building a civil case. Will you help? I sat with the message for a long time. I'd spent months trying to move forward, trying to focus on the future instead of the wreckage of the past. But the scammer was still out there. Maybe using a different name now, different stolen photos, still running the same game, still finding lonely people and draining their bank accounts, still destroying families. He'd taken $80,000 from my family. But he'd also taken something harder to measure. Trust, stability, the basic assumption that the person you loved was telling you the truth. Maybe there was a way to take something back. I clicked reply. Tell me more, I'm listening. Caroline West called me the next evening. Thank you for responding, she said. Her voice was warm but tired. The voice of someone who'd been fighting for a long time. Most people I reach out to don't want to talk about it. The shame is too much. I'm not the one who should feel ashamed. No, you're not. But that doesn't stop the feeling, does it? She told me her story. 2 years ago, she'd been a recently divorced accountant in Seattle, lonely and vulnerable. She'd met Ryan on a dating app. Different photos, same script. He'd called her beautiful. He'd said he understood her. He'd promised her a future. By the time she realized the truth, she'd lost $45,000. The worst part wasn't the money, she said. It was realizing I'd fallen in love with someone who didn't exist. That all those feelings, all those conversations, they were just nothing. A transaction. I was a number on someone's spreadsheet. How did you find out? Same way you did. The demands got bigger, the excuses got weaker, and eventually I started asking questions he couldn't answer. When I confronted him, he disappeared. New number, new profile, new victim. And the FBI? Useless at first. They treated me like an idiot, like I should have known better. But I kept pushing. I found other victims online, in forums where people share their stories. That's how I found out about the arrest in LA. That's how I found you. What do you want from me? Help. The FBI caught one money mule, but the people running the operation are still out there. We're building a civil case, not for the money because we'll probably never see that again, for the exposure. We want to force these people into the light. I thought about Emily, about Lily, about the domino effect of one scammer's lies. What do you need? Everything you have. Transaction records, messages, the FBI report, and your testimony if it comes to that. We're also working with a journalist who's writing a feature for the Washington Post. She wants to interview victims and family members. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. I did think about it. For 3 days, I turned it over in my mind. Part of me wanted to close this chapter. Move on. Build a new life that didn't revolve around what Emily had done and who had done it to her. But another part, the analyst part, the problem solver, couldn't let it go. These scammers operated in the shadows because their victims stayed silent. They counted on shame and embarrassment to protect them. What if we refuse to be silent? I called Caroline back. I'm in. Whatever you need. Thank you, Matt. You have no idea what this means. Just one condition. Name it. My daughter stays out of it. Her name, her face, everything about her. Off limits. Absolutely. We're very careful about protecting families. Over the next few weeks, I became part of something larger than my own story. Caroline connected me with 11 other victims, women from across the country, all ages, all backgrounds. A retired teacher from Florida, a nurse from Arizona, a small business owner from Vermont. Each one had been targeted, groomed, and drained by the same operation. We shared our evidence, compared timelines, mapped the network of fake identities and shell accounts. It was forensic accounting on a massive scale, and despite everything, I found myself energized by the work. We weren't just victims anymore. We were investigators. The Washington Post article ran 6 months later. The Loneliness Economy: How Romance Scammers Stole $2 million from American Hearts was the headline. The journalist had done exceptional work, weaving together our stories into a narrative that was both devastating and illuminating. I was quoted extensively, not by name, but as a financial analyst from Ohio whose wife fell victim to the scheme. The article described how the scammers operated, how they identified targets, how they built trust over months before asking for money. It also named names. Not the victims, but the operation itself. The journalist had traced the network to a specific group in Lagos, working with American accomplices in 3 states. The FBI had made additional arrests. The civil case was moving forward. Lily called me the day the article went live. Dad, I saw the Post piece. How are you doing? I'm okay. Actually, I'm kind of proud of you for fighting back. It's not just me, there are a lot of people involved. Still, you could have just walked away. You didn't. Neither did you. There was a pause on the line. Then she said, Mom wrote me another letter. I know. She says she's been following the case. She says she wants to testify, to help expose what they did. What do you think about that? I don't know. Part of me wants to tell her that she doesn't get to be on the good side now, not after what she did. But another part, she trailed off. You don't have to decide anything right now. I know, I need more time. Take all the time you need. This isn't something you have to figure out today, or this month, or even this year. Whatever you decide about your relationship with your mom, that's your decision. I'll support you either way. Thanks, Dad. The civil case settled out of court 18 months after that first LinkedIn message from Caroline. We didn't get rich. We didn't get anything close to what we'd lost. But we got acknowledgement. We got the satisfaction of knowing that we'd made things harder for the people who'd hurt us. And we got each other. The group of victims Caroline had assembled became something more over those months. A support network. A chosen family of people who understood what it felt like to be betrayed in such an intimate way. Caroline and I stayed in touch even after the case closed. She'd become a friend, maybe my best friend, in that weird way that trauma bonds people together. You should come to Seattle sometime, she said during one of our calls. My daughter wants to meet the famous Ohio analyst who helped take down the bad guys. I'm not famous. You're famous to her. She's 17, same as Lily was when this started. She watched me go through all of it. Watching me fight back, it changed something in her. Good change? I think so. She's tougher now, more skeptical. Not in a bad way, just aware that the world isn't always what it seems. Yeah, I said. I know what you mean. Lily graduated from Northwestern with honors. I drove up for the ceremony, sat in the crowd with thousands of other proud parents, watched my daughter walk across the stage in her cap and gown. She was taller than I remembered, more confident, an adult in every way that mattered. Afterward, we got dinner at her favorite restaurant near campus. She'd landed a job with a consulting firm in Chicago, starting in the fall. She had plans, ambitions, a future that stretched out in front of her like an open road. Dad, she looked at me across the table. I need to tell you something. Okay. I talked to Mom last week. I set down my fork. How did that go? Weird, hard, but also, I don't know, necessary maybe? She picked at her food. She's different now, smaller somehow. She cried a lot. She apologized a lot. She didn't make excuses. That's something. It doesn't fix what she did? No, it doesn't. But I think I understand now, a little bit. Not forgive, understand. She was broken in ways neither of us saw. It doesn't make what she did okay. It just makes her human. You're a wiser person than I am, Lily. I learned it from you. She smiled. The same smile Emily used to have before everything went wrong. You could have spent the last 4 years being angry, bitter, closed off. Instead, you fought back and you healed, and you made something good out of something terrible. I had help. We all need help sometimes. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Thank you, Dad, for everything. I think about that conversation a lot these days. Lily was right. I could have spent those years drowning in anger. There were moments when that would have been easier. When the betrayal felt so raw that I wanted to burn everything down and salt the earth. But what would that have accomplished? Emily destroyed part of my life. Why would I let her destroy the rest of it? So I built something new instead. Not the life I'd planned, but a life that was mine. A career I was proud of. Friendships that mattered. A relationship with my daughter that was stronger than it had ever been. And yeah, eventually, I started dating again. Nothing serious for a long time, but that changed too. Her name is Rebecca. She's a forensic accountant, which either proves I have a type or suggests the universe has a sense of humor. We met at a conference. When I told her my story, she didn't flinch. You survived something awful, she said. That doesn't make you damaged. It makes you resilient. I'm learning to believe her. Caroline sent me an email last week. The subject line was, "Guess who's getting married?" She'd met someone. A good man, she said. Nothing like the phantom she'd fallen for years ago. Someone real, someone present, someone who showed up. "I didn't think I'd ever trust anyone again," she wrote. "I thought that part of me was broken forever. But it turns out hearts are surprisingly good at healing. Given enough time and the right conditions, they can grow back stronger than before." I read that line 3 times. Then I picked up my phone and called Rebecca. "Hey," I said, "what are you doing this weekend?" "No plans, why?" "I was thinking maybe we could go somewhere. Get out of town. Maybe drive up to the lake." "That sounds perfect." "Good. I'll pick you up Saturday morning." After I hung up, I sat on my porch and watched the sun set over my neighborhood. The same neighborhood where I'd raised a daughter, lost a wife, and rebuilt my life from the ground up. It wasn't the future I'd planned. It wasn't the future anyone would choose. But it was mine. And that was going to have to be enough. Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. It was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything.